Louis, we talked about reeling them in. Remember that? Okay, well, a couple of years ago, I was very busy reeling them in. And most of what I said to you worked very well for me, and it has continued to work very well for me. If you are not in St. Louis, we are going to have to redo that training sometime. Because I know that a lot of you kind of took that same advice, and it worked for you. And some of you have since shared some other things with me that has also worked for me. So what I find myself doing now is leading an active team. And I am so blessed. I don't even like to call it lucky, although I'm not going to lie. We know sometimes we get very lucky. I have a very active team. A ton of them have been up here. 2 of them went on the incentive trip with me. I would rather take them to Punta Cana than my children. We had way more fun in the Eden pool with Mandy and Megan than with my children. And if you were in Punta Cana, you know why that Eden pool is significant. Okay, so let me see if I can figure this. But here's the problem. So I'm continuing to recruit. So I get caught between that, what have I already given you 600 times and you're not listening to me anymore and I drive you crazy sending out the basics, but my new demonstrators still need the stuff I always gave them. So I bounce back and forth a lot, and honestly, I don't know if I'm as great an upline as Megan is, because Megan's still doing those awesome basics, you're new, let me show you how to do this. And mine, I'm like, haven't I said that 10,000? Oh yeah, you weren't around when I said that. Sorry. So I'm kind of bouncing back and forth, and I don't always do a great job at it all the time, but they're filling in with their teams and doing amazing things for me. So, new demonstrator training. First and foremost, this is one of the things that has helped me try to stay on track with new demonstrators. We have a document. Holly Charlesworth and Tara and Karen started this years ago. We were doing these on national conference calls back 5 years ago. They created this document and shared it with me when I was presenting, and I have continued to update it. It is a PowerPoint presentation. Ladies, do not recreate this. I can email this PowerPoint to you, and you need to share this. It's going to take a little time. You need to share it. I would hesitate to tell you, just send it to her and she'll read it. No, she won't. No, she won't. Some people haven't read the demonstrator manual. They don't even know there is a manual. He or she is not going to read the PowerPoint. They don't know there is one. Some of them, I send it to them, and they still don't read it. I assume if I send it to you, you've read it and you know all that information. We did it on a team conference call one night. I emailed it out to everybody that was going to be on the call, and then we walked through it very quickly. I wouldn't spend a whole lot of time on any one page. This is not my training. I'm just going to show you kind of how this works. It starts and you run through them. This actually drops through one piece at a time so I can cover anything very quickly, but I had them condense it all so it's a little faster. It is page by page by page. Tells them that there is an UpStart program. I have people say, oh, I didn't even know there was an UpStart program. Did you read your manual? Have you looked at anything in the document library? And I get caught between I don't want to treat new recruits like they're my junior high students because they're grown women and a man. Men, there's actually 2 men. But at the same time, if I'm not helping them and I'm not giving it to them, they've got other things going on. They're busy with other businesses, and so sometimes I kind of, Kevin can probably tell you, sometimes I treat him like a junior high kid. I bark at him, I snap at him, or I tell him something, and luckily he just lets it roll off his back. He doesn't take it personally. And then I have a former 8th grade student of mine who is now a demonstrator. And what's awesome is Jenny came to convention, and when I said, why did you come? She was like, well, because you told me I had to. Love that. She was like, well, you said in an email, and it's in Louisville, and we all have to go. Oh, yes, I did. And she listened. She took that seriously. And Jenny, do you realize how many people on the team didn't get that same message? Now, poor Jenny was trained in 8th grade to do whatever I said. Need to recruit a few more of your classmates, Jenny, is what we need to do. So here's this PowerPoint. This walks you through everything. All right, and one of the key points in being an active leader is sharing absolutely everything. Julie, I'm going to need those pictures from today, honey. There is no reason to reinvent the wheel. Let's push it together. It rolls faster. All right? Wendy sharing what she shared. Oh, Wendy, I hope to give you a run for your money on social networking recruits. And the nice thing is Wendy stood up here and shared, is like, come on, let's go. Let's do this together. It's huge. So I'm going to just walk through a couple of the pages it shows you. Now, I'm going to update this again before I send it out. So when we get home, give me like 48 hours to fill in some of the new stuff, because that's what I'm on, like version 4 of this now, because every time announcements come out, commission plans change, you have to keep this update, because worse than not training your team is training them incorrectly. You can't give them the wrong information, because then they go, well, I thought when I signed up you said it was this. Oh, that was wrong. Don't give them wrong information, because then they're passing that along to their customers. They're operating under false information. So keep it updated. So this version right now says new demonstrator training 2013A. It will say 2013B when I send it to you. So if you get A, delete it. My team, delete it. I'll send out B. Now from there on, you're in charge. If we update it again before the end of the year, we'll go to 2013C. Please make sure you're operating on that and change it yourself if you need to. Once we have leadership, if anything new is announced, great, we're going to go 2014A. That's for Megan. I'm trying to be organized. I'd be like, next, and another next. So it walks through everything, very quick bullet points. You can take as long or as short a time as you need with that demonstrator. You can answer questions. If you don't get through it all, schedule another meeting, pick up where you left off. All right, so here's just a couple of the pages. Rolling through that, they actually even dropped in. So this goes through all the tabs at the top. UL Express is one of the craziest things for new demonstrators when they start. You're like, just get on the website and start playing around. And they're like, do I log in as a customer? No. Okay, go all the way back to the beginning. Go all the way back to the beginning, and you have to just keep saying it. Hopefully, we are all recruiting at a quick enough pace that we are constantly going back to the beginning. All right, so there's those things. They were even dropping in things straight from the original one to show what it was. So they could say, oh, I'm on the right page. It looks like that. So there's that. Here's the reason I'm going to share with you, because ain't nobody got time for that. Can you imagine how long it took them originally to create that document? And it has taken several versions in between. So we're sharing it. We're going to be done. So when someone says, I have a few questions, awesome, let's meet. I'll bring my computer. Give me 30 to 45 minutes. Let's run through this. I don't recommend you doing this for recruiting at an open house, because ain't nobody got time for that. All right. You have to give them the solutions, give them the words. Tell them what to say. A lot of this has in it exactly how I say it. So conference calls. If 3 people show up, yay, you've trained 3 people. I know what you wanted was all 25. But those 3 needed it. They're the ones who took the time to do it. Don't decide, well, I did it, and only 3 got on, so I'm not going to do them again. Do several, because you're wanting to eventually hit all 25 of them. Keep going. So conference calls is one of the next things. Let me get to the end of this. Maybe I don't know how. Am I going backwards? There we go. Conference calls, do them. No matter how big, no matter how small. You don't have to do them constantly. Here's one thing. I don't do a lot of conference calls because for the same reason that I don't like to join gym memberships. You know what you do when you buy a gym membership, right? I'm not going to go today. I'll go tomorrow. I don't have time tomorrow. I'm going to go the next day. Like, it's always there. It's always available. You can always go, so you never go. Same thing with conference calls. If your team knows you do a conference call every week and it doesn't work in their schedule this week, I'll do it next week. Oh, it doesn't work again. Doesn't work again. Doesn't work again. Doesn't work again. And she looks up and she's like, I haven't been on a conference call in 6 months. And you've done them every week. You'll end up mad at her. So don't do them all that often. Like, create a sense of this is important. This is the conference call for the quarter. Get on it, or you're going to miss out. And I'm not repeating the same. If you do them every week, you'll be repeating the same information every week. You're going to bang your head against the wall. It's going to drive you crazy. Make them want to get on there and get the updated information. I don't record them either. Because then again, it's a gym membership. Oh, I don't have to listen to it. I can go back and listen to it. They'll never go back and listen to it. Ask some of your teams how many have gone in and looked at those training videos online. I haven't even watched them all. You know why? They're just always there, waiting on me to be less busy. When I'm finally less busy, I collapse at the end of the day. I don't have time to watch that. So I like it when they're like, there's a conference call, and we're not recording it. I'm like, oh, crap, I got to be on it. But I'll be on it, because there's not a way to go back and get that information. Okay, new demonstrator trainings. Again, share their why. We've heard this all week long. People join for different reasons. Sometimes you've made it look fun enough, they want to join you. So tell them how fun it is. They want extra money. Don't ever negate that. Some of us, realize now we put a whole lot more money into it sometimes than we get out. Don't share that with them right away. Not a good idea. But keep track of, give them the basics on how to make money, like stay out of Michael's, stay out of Hobby Lobby. I could show you receipts from when I first started. Like, it was my excuse to go to those places and buy a bunch of crap. And I was like, it's a write-off, it's a project, it's a display. Brian was like, you are wasting your money. I'm having a lot of fun. When I started making more money when I quit buying all that stuff and started putting classic vinyl on the wall. Leave it alone. Okay, so find out their why. You know why some of the other people in it, and sometimes it gets to be as complex as the reason you are in it. Go back to that original reason and get her, that's what got her started, get her running with that, and she'll be all right. Okay, leader training and support. So this transitions to, okay, she's not so new anymore. Holy cow, that's going fast. Slow that clock down. Okay, I'm going to speed up, so stay with me. Leader training and support. Number 1, networking. Teach her how to connect with other people. Mention who you talked to. Mention why you brought it up to them and the ideas you shared with them. I always, one of the pictures I submitted for the photo swap was a picture of my display at one of the vendor events I did. Because new recruits who have never been to a party, haven't had their own party, have no clue what you're talking about when you say the word display. They think it's one word on a board. That's your display. Because in a science fair project, that's their display. And then all of a sudden they go, oh, so you have a lot of things in like several colors and several surfaces? Oh. And then they're going to get busy trying to recreate something very similar to this. It doesn't have to look just like this. And sometimes they say, well, what is that? Anything square, grab it, paint it, put it on it. It doesn't have to be exactly like mine. But so share those things with them. So help them connect and give them the visuals to connect. Why should they talk to other people in other direct sales companies? Because they want to get in their Rolodex. You are a business owner. Why should you talk to other business owners? You want to get in their Rolodex. You may not sell to that one person. You want to sell to everyone that person knows. All right? And we've kind of done the networking thing a couple times, but don't. Here's my best reason for this. Books can't get people to read them, right? You walk by a bookstore and there's a book sitting there. Books can't get people to read them. Advertisements, marketing, word of mouth gets us reading those books, right? Our product isn't any different. Vinyl doesn't get people installing it, buying it, and recruiting for it. We do. You have to market, you have to promote, you have to convince, you have to share, you have to, all that good stuff. We could go on and on with all those verbs we have to do. So, market it, because books can't get people to read them, neither can our product. Here's the one thing I want you to get out of this. So you have to teach them, once they know the basics, once they've had a launch party, then they're like, okay, now what? Well, now let me show you how to upsell. Let me show you how to take that vinyl, put it on one of our surfaces, and you've almost doubled their purchase. And some people are like, well, that means they spend more. Right, but they love it more, and it's easy. Because some people are like, well, what am I supposed to put this on? We could put it on this. Some people don't care what the cost is. We love them. Some people are like, I don't care if it's $14.95 more for that surface, done and done. So show them how to upsell. Show them how to add a name. If they're putting in something really cool, really sweet in their kids' room, oh my gosh, personalize it. Put her name too. Sometimes it's only $8 to $15 more. But if you did that for 20 customers a year, that's going to help. And sometimes that is just what you needed to bump you up to that next percentage. Misty's really good about on our team Facebook page. She's like, double check your reports. How close to you are that next percentage bump up? If you miss it by just a few dollars, you'll be like, God, if I had just talked her into getting her daughter's name because it was Caitlin, Elizabeth, whatever. Wouldn't have cost the customer very much to get it. Would have helped you bump up, and you don't have to buy it yourself to bump up. Share with her how to recruit. It's one of the hardest things for new recruits to do. Should be the easiest because they're excited and they can get somebody to do it with them, but they don't know what to say. That's your job to tell them what to say. And I always say, go back, what was it that I said to you that made you want to do this? What was it that I said? Or what was it that someone said at the party? What made you do it? That's what they need to try. All right. Teach them how to set goals. Share with them. I have spent the last several years kicking out very long-winded emails. I'm a writing teacher. to my teams, sharing with them some of the most amazing trips, truly, of my life. And I wasn't doing it to brag. And I wasn't doing it to throw it in their face. I was sharing with them to inspire them, to make them go, oh my gosh, I bet that was so fun for her. I want to do that. And it worked. Because one by one by one, they're joining me. And none of them have ever said, I hate it when you send out those emails about your trips. I'm sick of hearing about it. Instead, we had a meeting. We had a meeting of the minds. We met halfway. And they said, honestly, I was going to the meeting to hear their advice on how to earn the trip. And so we showed up, they got their notebooks out. How do we do this? So I had to help with them, share goals, talk about the incentives. All of a sudden, when you're leading an active team, they had a plan in place to get, you saw them, they have UpStart crazy front lines. They saw the value in getting their team to hit those UpStart goals for them to get trip points. For them to get trip points. I love it. Megan's up here talking about, you can get this, $100 in product credit, and you get this, and you get this. And the whole time I'm like, and she gets trip points. That's what's in it for her. That's fantastic. That is a win-win-win situation. Because then they were promoting. So it's kind of a joke to be like, well, you just wind them up and you let them go. I had to kind of get out of their way and let them lead their teams. I've had to back off a little bit and let them lead their teams. But I couldn't let go of my new demonstrators. I had to let them encourage, show them how to do it. I had to quit sending out emails that made it sound like it's all about me and you're on my team. Well, you're kind of on her team, and you're kind of on her team, and you're kind of on her team too. But yay, we all come together and do this. So I have to share with them. I have to help them set goals. I have to say, here's what I did. And we did. We sat down and we were like, okay, strategy A is this. This is what we're going to do. We're going to try it. We did that for a couple weeks, and they were like, okay, that worked really well at first, and now it sucks. What's plan B? Okay, let's do this. What are we going to do next to keep sales, to keep recruiting, to help people hit things? Talk about the incentives. Once your teammates are beginning to promote, it is time to start talking incentives, lady. And here's a huge quote, love, love, love. Just because you haven't doesn't mean you can't. How many of you are sitting here going, whatever, Deb, I don't have a big active team. Incentives are not an option. I was once sitting there without a big team, and I'm pretty sure I was thinking incentives were not an option. So just because you haven't does not mean you can't. I want you to. I kind of need you to. These girls wear me out on a trip. Did you see Megan on the dance floor last night? Yeah. She's like that on a trip. I could use some backup. Could use some help. So, got to the bottom of that. Go. Team meetings. Hold them. Hold team meetings. We used to do what was called team day. Sometimes they were huge, and a lot of people showed up. Sometimes they were small. One night it was like Megan and Jen, who's no longer even active, and so it was just the two of them, and I went, you know what, we're not staying here. Let's go have dinner. Okay, so we can sit and meet over dinner just as easy as we can sit and meet with a lot of people in my living room. We did an overnighter. It's not very well attended, but we did an overnighter. I rented out a bed and breakfast in a Round Barn Inn, not too far from my house. It was super cool. We had a hot tub and a big meeting room. There was not a lot of us there, but we had a great time, and I have a feeling if I did it again, way more people would show up. It was a blast. I need to now. It would be a ton of fun now. Heck yeah, we could do like a big, huge, the place was huge. You got like the whole upper floor of a barn. Fancy. Hold them. Even if you only get a couple people, this is the hardest thing to do, is to just keep going. If you're like, well, I only have one front line, and she's my sister-in-law, and we talk all the time. But do you talk uppercase all the time? And I do mean all the time. Are you constantly thinking for each other, helping each other? When someone says, oh my gosh, it was so fun. Like, I met this mom at the park. Really? Did you join her mom's club? Well, no. Why didn't you? Like, keep each other going. If it's one people, two people, doesn't matter. Hold the team meetings, get them coming. If you have one recruit, you should be having team meetings, because that's going to turn into 2 recruits. And then she's going to have you're going to look up and you're like, crap, what am I going to serve now? I got 8 people coming over. Now, I would be in trouble if I had a team meeting where everybody showed up. I'd love to be in trouble. Love to be in trouble. Set the expectation. Jen heard me say, it's in Louisville. We need to go. Everyone should be there. It was the expectation. She didn't know she had an option. We always come to everything, Jenny. Some of you are sitting waiting to find out where convention is going to be held, is to see if you can go. Really? I'm just excited to know where I'm traveling next year for my anniversary and my birthday. It's not about where it is in case you can go. It's about where it is because that's where I'm going. As soon as we knew last summer where it was, I'm like, sweet, I'll be in Louisville for my anniversary and my birthday. About a month and a half ago, my husband got invited. Awesome opportunity to go coach at the Nike Globals. He forwards me the email, and he was like, honey, I got this email, it's below, asking me if I can come out to the Washington, D.C. area, but it's July 17th to the 22nd, and that's our anniversary and your birthday. And I'm sitting there going, I'm not even going to be home, big dummy, remember? I'm going to convention. I'm glad you asked me, but remember, I didn't even ask you. I just knew I was going. So I was like, you're off the hook, babe. I won't even be home. And he was like, oh, yeah, it's convention. It's not a question. And some of you won't make that decision, and that's okay. That's a whole nother thing you have to do with the variety. You have to allow them to be them. Some people, something does get to be more important than their business, but that is never the expectation. Most of the girls on my team, and so most of the girls on your team, need to know that your expectation is that they're running their business like a business owner. All right. I closed a show in the hospital when I had my third child. I don't expect everybody on my team to do that, but you know what's awesome? They know it's possible if they want to do it. I give them the permission to work while they're in the hospital having a baby. Like, I gave them that permission. But if they say, you know what, she's in the NICU, you probably won't hear from me for a couple of weeks, absolutely, I will pray for you. So let them do what works for them and makes it important for them. But let them know your expectation is high, and your expectation is that they're working, but that you are there to support them, befriend them, pray for them, support them. What can I do to help you? Do you have a party coming up? Do we need someone in your area to grab that party? Do you need me to email your hostesses, call your hostesses, and move something around? What can I do to help you? You take care of what you need to take care of. But remember, this business is important to all of us, and let's do that. And you guys need to be fair to team members, downline, upline, everybody. If we truly made a list of everything we had to do before our business, we wouldn't be in business. You've got to kind of get out of your own way and let that come first. And I do that all the time. I don't think any of us are any busier than anybody else. We just have a different list of things we're doing. I could run you through all the things that I do, that I'm involved in, and you could match it task for task. It would not be the same task, but you could match it. Some of you, Candy Crush is important. I have never played, and I don't get that, but I see it enough. I know when you are out of lives, you are struggling. I see it, and I don't get it, but at the same reason, every Saturday morning at 7:30 when I'm at Conner Prairie running 6 miles with kids, you guys are, you are stupid. I'm trying to get another life on Candy Crush. And someone else is up packing hostess packets, and someone else has already left to set up for a vendor event. We all are busy different tasks. Give them the permission to do what they need to do that's important to them, but set your expectation high. So love them where they're at. I got an easy team to love where they are at, that's for sure. All right, do I even have anything else? Because I've got a few more things. I could talk all day is the problem. Okay, we'll leave that up for a minute. Okay, last couple things that I want to share. Number one, I truly believe you have to tell, so my big motto is if you can't change your people, change your people. I'm going to give you the 8 seconds to process that. I don't mean fire anybody necessarily. Add more to your team. I have a big, awesome, huge front line. A couple of them, I can't wait till we roll up again. Like, I just need them to go because I keep calling them, I keep emailing them, and I'm not getting any response back. So it's time to change them. I got to keep recruiting, which means I got to keep training them, which means once they're active, I got to kind of step back and let them do their thing with their team. But at the same time, you have to create a unit that people want to be a part of. How many of you think the stars here are awesome? I've tried really hard not to be as flamboyant as a peacock.
Yes. Thank you.
However, we've tried to have an awful lot of fun as stars. And the more stars, the better. That just makes a whole constellation. It's true. So the more people you can get to have fun, and I think my team knows I want them to succeed. I want them to do well. I want them to love it like I love it. I want them to lead like I lead. I want them to train even better than I train. But I want them to make money. I want them to lead a team. I'm a teacher. Even if I were to be teacher of the year, I don't get out of that what I get out of this. They have never stood me up in front of the entire school of teachers and said, Deb, tell us what you think and tell us how you do what you do. They don't want to hear it because they know it's long-winded because I'm the writing teacher. They want to hear from the fun art teacher because it'll be colorful and fun and short. Like me. And find out what professions they're in. This is probably so different from what they do. The teachers at school think I'm crazy for doing this. They're like, so you teach all day, then you run home. I actually teach half days. You run home, you do your thing, you come back for cross country, and then you go to a show? And I pick a kid up from soccer on the way home. That too. They think I'm insane. But they do other things. They've got their thing going. Some of them are kind of from the outside in, looking in and going, you have an awful lot of fun. Like, you're here printing things off. You're here making things for your team day. We had a team day at school, set it up in my classroom, because I've got computers in my room, access to the Rizzo printer. That was awesome. The paper cutter, we brought it right in, and we set up hostess packet stations, computer stations, copy all these pictures, download. Like, I wanted them to come. I gave them all a free window for coming. Give them stuff. Be good to them. Give them a reason to want to be in your unit, to want to be in your core family. Let them see, oh, wait, I need to go. I need to train because I want to be a part of that. There is strength in numbers. Build your numbers. All right, there's strength in numbers. Build your numbers.
Okay, let's give her another big round of applause. That's great, Deb. Thanks.